Response to Eliphaz. Listen to this. My complaint today is still a bitter one, and I try hard not to groan aloud. If only I knew where to find God. I would go to His court. Now, I've made comments to this effect in weeks gone by. There are people today who are hurting, struggling, suffering, unimaginable horror. Now, if your life has been blessed, if you don't know what I am, if you don't understand what I'm saying, then thank God for your blessings. But there are families and people who are going through unimaginable pain and sorrow and hurt. Life is just unbearable. And then I read things like this. I have met people like Job. People want to meet God. They want to meet Him face to face. This is exactly what he said. I want a meeting, and I want it now. God, I want to talk to you. We need to talk. This is precisely what Job has been saying for weeks now, as we've been going through the letter. Verse 10, Job 23. This, with a lot of people as well as myself, is one of the key verses that are remembered. This is a favorite, if you please. This is just, it's encouraging. It's such a blessing to read and then to comprehend and to understand this man. Listen to Job 23:10. Even in spite of all this outrage and all this talk, but listen now to what Job has to say. But He knows where I'm going. And when He tests me, I will come forth as gold. Many of us within Christianity love God. We love His Word. We understand the principles that are taught in Scripture. But during our dark hours, our dark moments, I would encourage you to remember Psalm 30 in verse 5. Weeping may remain for a night. His anger will last only a moment, but joy comes in the morning. And back in the 80s, when I did an intense study of the book of Job, that's the verse that became my life verse. A verse that challenged me, a verse that blessed me. Joy comes in the morning. Job, hang in there. Michael, hang in there. Joy comes in the morning. And all God's people said? Amen. Are you with me? All right. Job says, I will come forth as gold after He has tested me. That's what we need to understand. That's what we can learn from this valuable book. You may be tested right now. You may be going through something horrible. It could be a very private pain that nobody else knows. But I'm telling you, God Almighty, the God of heaven, sees your heart. The God of heaven loves you. Why? Because you're valuable to Him. You know, it's my understanding we need to get back to helping people understand how valuable they are. I'm not a nobody. Do you realize who I am? You realize who I am? Listen, I am a child of the King. I am God's son. I am a Christian. That's who I am. And God has tested me. And praise God, I came forth a much better man, a stronger man. I thank God for this book. It has taught me valuable, valuable lessons. And I pray for you as well. Joy comes in the morning. Hang in there. Hang in there. That's what Job would say. Job, again, he wants to find God. He just simply wants to plead his case. He wants to meet God in court. And he asks why the oppressors aren't judged and why they're not vindicated. And it's a similar dialogue that has taken place already. So some of this is somewhat repetitious. The wicked in chapter 24 here, Job asks why the wicked are not punished. And he talks about how the wicked seek cover. And then again, he just presents in chapter 24 all the injustice that life just seems to present. Then chapter 25. If you've read ahead, chapter 25, as you well know, is the shortest chapter in the book. How many verses in chapter 25? 6. Very good. Now, keep in mind, this is Bildad. We talked about him last week. This is Bildad's third response to Job. Now, it's interesting, as Bildad describes God's holiness, and basically he talks about man's nature. This is interesting. Only 6 verses, so let's just read them. Chapter 25. Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, God is powerful and dreadful. He enforces peace in the heavens. Who is able to count his heavenly army? Doesn't his light shine on all the earth? How can a mortal be innocent before God? Can anyone born of a woman be pure? God is more glorious than the moon. He shines brighter than the stars. In comparison, people are maggots. We mortals are mere worms. That's encouraging. Bildad, interesting fella, needless to say. But I think there's something wrong with his philosophy here, so to speak. And I think it's going to come out here in chapter 26. Listen to Job as he gives his 9th speech. And this is his response to what we just read. Then Job spoke again. How you have helped the powerless. How you have saved the weak. How you have enlightened my stupidity. What wise advice you have offered. Where have you gotten all these wise sayings? Whose spirit speaks through you? The dead tremble. Those who live beneath the waters, the underworld is naked in God's presence. The place of destruction is uncovered. God stretches the northern sky over your empty space and hangs the earth on nothing. He wraps the rain in his thick clouds, and the clouds don't burst with the weight. He covers the face of the moon, shrouding it with his clouds. He created the horizon when he separated the waters. He set the boundary between day and night. The foundations of heaven tremble. They shudder at his rebuke. By his power, the sea grew calm. By his skill, he crushed the great sea monster, the Leviathan. His spirit made the heavens beautiful, and his power pierced the gliding serpent. These are just the beginning of all that he does. Merely a whisper of his power. Who then can comprehend the thunder of his power? chapter 26,